With your argument of the title deeds, if indeed it is found that there are people who are living there, they don't have genuine title deeds and they're being evicted because there has been a concern of having humanitarian standards in evicting them, what would your request be to the government?
My request to the government is, can you be sincere in your efforts? And you know, this is why, and there's something I said today which I want to repeat on this TV. In June of 2017, in this particular area today, where CS Tobiko and Natembeya wants to close public primary school, I stood there with none other than President Uhuru Kenyatta and Deputy President William Ruto. And we spoke to those people, asked them to vote for this administration, that in return we will build schools, we will build roads, we will build hospitals. 2 years down the line, for a cabinet secretary from the same government to return and ask those people to get out of the disputed area is not only hypocritical, but it's marks of all the arrogance of government. Therefore,
just because you stood there during a campaign,
listen,
just because you stood there during a campaign doesn't mean that a cabinet secretary should necessarily follow the promises that were given, and we know how the promises end up during campaign periods, that he should stick by the promises made during the campaign. If he is a cabinet secretary of environment and he is there to protect the interest of the environment and the integrity of the environment, then he should stick to that. So are you saying that he is acting on his own initiative, and this is not at all on behalf of the government?
I want
as Keriako Tobiko.
Exactly. I want to say so, because as we speak today, and this is a challenge that I gave to CS Tobiko, which I want to see him present before Parliament, because I've seen the Parliamentary Committee on Environment has summoned him. Can he show to the country the cabinet decision, including minutes where this issue was discussed and arrived at, so that we can know that now government has changed its earlier position of 2017, and now they have a different look at this, and they're confirming, or either they're thinking right now is that the Masai Mau area is now a public forest.
All right.
It will be good. At least the decent thing to do would be to turn back to those people and say, we are sorry, we were wrong. Okay. We thought that you guys were living in your proper homes, but we have since established that it's a forest. That would be at least the simple and the most decent thing to do. But showing up and asking, you know, kids from 15 schools that telling them do not report to school tomorrow, that is completely unfair. Right. And in fact, I want to ask those children to report to school tomorrow. Nobody will do anything to you.
Oh, so not to follow the government directive?
That is not a government directive. That's a personal opinion
of Keriako Tobiko directive.
Yes.
This is not at all sanctioned by the government.
You saw what the PS for Education said when he appeared before Parliament.
All right, we have Ledama Olekina. He's actually just joining us now, just for this particular conversation, as if you may just take the seat, because there was an issue, of course, that held you up as you were making your way here. And while you were away, Bona Aaron Cheriot made the argument that this particular exercise that is being carried out, first of all, by Keriako Tobiko, is very personal in terms of it not being genuine, because he believes those that are being evacuated or evicted are genuine title holders and they are not on forest land. What do you say?
First of all, let me say this. I just got back from Narok, and I'm a very, very happy person, because the government is doing what all of us have been crying for the last 2 decades, for people to be able to leave our water towers, to conserve the environment. So I'm a very happy camper. The next thing that I can say to my brother, Aaron Cheriot, I'm actually surprised, because Aaron Cheriot comes from Kericho. In Kericho, the part of Mau forest is intact. Most of the people who he's actually trying to champion, or rather to campaign for, to continue violating the environment, are from his county. You know, my advice to my dear friend here is that he should go and claim those titles which are now currently being owned by the former colonial masters, the ones who planted all the tea plantations, and then move his people there. In terms of conservation, Masai Mau, as a senator of Narok County, Article 96 of the Constitution gives me that power to protect the interest of the county government and its people. We, the people of Narok County, willingly set aside the Masai Mau forest so that we can share with the rest of the world.
Right.
Because it's a water catchment area. The facts on the Mau issue are very clear. I heard Cheriot earlier on insulting Keriako Tobiko. What Keriako Tobiko is doing is something which is godly, something that will help future generations. We had 5 group ranches. We know all the facts of those group ranches. There are some Maasai leaders who belong to jail now, who also colluded with some people from Rift Valley, and they stole the land. In fact, what Cheriot should be doing now is not insulting Keriako Tobiko, who is doing what everyone has been dying for. What he should be doing now is that he should be parading all those people that he alleges own title deeds, take them through the process of title deeds, and then come with facts.
He says, and he says it should be a very easy task for Keriako to just call his county.
No. That's not Keriako's work.
Yes.
That is not Keriako's work, Mark. Just give me a minute.
Right.
That is not Keriako's work. As far as we are concerned, we have had 2 commissions. You know, we've had the Olentutu one, we've had the Nur, and they have all come up with the same conclusion. That those people who have encroached into the forest are using poor people to pretend that, oh, it's the poor people who are being attacked. In fact, what should happen is this. Let me tell you, because I had Cheriot and his other tribal cocoons talking about insulting Keriako Tobiko, saying that Keriako Tobiko has not done anything. Let me tell him, last year, we removed people from the Mau forest, we planted trees, and those trees are growing.
The restoration is happening.
Yes.
Right.
So when you say that Keriako has never done anything, we've done it.
Can I read, you know, you've got to understand my friend Ledama.
No, proceed. I know very well. In fact, by the time, let me tell you, I am almost 15 years older than you. And by the time we were talking about Mau Forest, I have the facts. I know them.
Okay,
so
just go by what you want.
I think I gave him his time. You know, I know.
Now I'll give you the time. I will give you the time.
No,
you don't have to
get the report.
No, what you're doing is absolutely ludicrous to insult. I'll keep quiet.
Go ahead,
but don't insult the government.
Go ahead.
Proceed.
Will I have my time?
Go ahead.
We'll give you your time.
Already taken a bit.
So good. Listen, Mark. This is the report of the government task force. You know, on Masai Mau, the one that was famous during Grand Coalition government. And it speaks about the general recommendations about the conservation of the Mau forest. And on page 29, I'd wish Ledama to look for that particular report because it was tabled in Parliament and it is a record of public document. It speaks about how to deal with this particular issue. And number 1, facts, it speaks about funds being made available to fully implement this particular task force report because it says 21 blocks are forest, public forest and public forest land. But this particular Masai Mau trust land, number 1, is not gazetted as a forest. And I want to challenge Ledama, if he has any document, and I want to give you a week, produce before this country, any gazette notice that shows that Masai Mau is a trust land, is a forest. Number 2, there is a process that you follow when you want to declare a particular place to be a forest. Supposing Keriako Tobiko and his colleagues at Environment have sat down and have thought through this and have said, because of the proximity of Masai Mau trust land to Mau forest, that it endangers the survival of this particular process. There is a process how you gazette a public land to become.
And you say in the history of our nation, this
in
area
the history of our country
is not considered forest.
I want to ask you, Keriako Tobiko, or your friend Ledama here, please produce any government document that shows Masai Mau is a trust land.
Let me respond. We don't need Keriako Tobiko to respond to that. I will respond to that. We, the people of Narok, the Maasais, not the Kipsigis from Kericho, set that land aside. So we don't want this nonsense of people from Kericho coming to tell us that this land has not been gazetted. We set it aside so that we can be able to ensure that rivers continue to flow. Even in Kericho this year, which is a fact.
What about the process that he says?
Now, let us go through this document that he's talking about.
So is that a document?
He is reading this document selectively. Selectively. Okay? Reading it selectively. I've read all these documents from page 1 to the end. It has named individuals who have grabbed that land,
Including Teriako Tobiko.
Teriako Tobiko is not there. It's just another name. That's bullshit.
I will show you.
That is
Let's
not
check
his
our
name.
language. Okay, we're past watershed
Excuse my
period.
language.
Yes, yes.
But what I'm saying is this. You cannot come here and lie to the people of Kenya. The rivers are drying. This is about conservation. If you care about the Kipsigis, take them to Kericho.